lot of people get off the fence now and say, you know what, now's a very good time to look at buying a house because rates are going up. Already November housing starts up about 10.5% to a 1.17 million total. That's not exactly boom times, but better times. Can those times hold? Jason Meister, Greg ran on that. Greg, what do you think?
Well, I think it's good that we're getting started. You know, taking the Band-Aid off has to begin somewhere, and so I think the fear of the unknown of how it might affect the housing market is overblown. My sense of it is that obviously you're going to have some segments of the home purchasing market, like first-time buyers, who are going to be suppressed by something like this. But in the last several years, we've seen investors picking up slack because precisely the fact that home buyers are slowing down, they're creating more rental households, and investors have become very aware and focused in on where that's happening and when to buy the houses that the home buyers don't want to buy and turn them into rentals.
A quarter point, Jason, if we get that, doesn't necessarily mean that longer-term rates inevitably go up a quarter point. In fact, they could come down. But what's your expectation for what a quarter point would do? Because looking at home builder stocks, it would appear those guys are okay with it.
Yeah, Neil, I mean, a quarter of a point is still material. I mean, we've had zero for, like you said earlier, 10 years. But I think the bigger question is the economy. And the economy really hasn't picked up. You have to look at the labor participation rate, which is at about 63%, the lowest since, I think, the Carter days in the 1970s. And we have a U6 unemployment rate in this country that's about 10%, which is above the
We should explain
U6
level. Is a wider metric for judging employment.
The real unemployment number, not the 5% that you keep hearing politicians throw out. So this administration, I mean, the Keynesian economics hasn't worked. And I think what you're seeing is you're seeing a housing market that's been propped up by the fact that interest rates have been at almost zero for 10 years. It's created bubbles in certain markets like New York City, Miami, San Francisco, Las Vegas. And I think the party's going to end. And I think a quarter of a point is going to be material. The spreads it's going to have an impact on the housing market. Overseas buyers, I'm starting to see drying up in places like Manhattan. So it's a rough time for a rate, but we have to have the rate increase. I think it's going to be material.
All right, guys, we have so much breaking news. I apologize for our limited time, but thank you very, very much. Just take a quick peek at where the markets are right now ahead of this. We got the Dow up about